Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with part 2 of this beautiful Botanical Christmas Stacked Envelope Journal, part 2. So this is a voiceover, so I will talk about that a little bit more as we move along. So what I'm talking about here is just what I did while I was off camera. So I collected all the bits that I wanted to add, tags and pockets and lace and paper bits and paper for clusters and things like that. So I'm not sure why I'm counting on my hands, but there's going to be a lot of talking hands because the video was about an hour long because I ran into issues with the construction at the end. So I'm going to just do a voiceover and explain what happened. So we're going to go ahead and start just adding all of the bits to these envelopes. This is the largest envelope, and again, I will give the dimensions in the video description. I did some die cutting with some of my Tim Holtz dies. They're just like greenery. So I'm going to put on this little pocket on the back side of the biggest envelope. It's going to open that way. So, and it looks like I do need to trim that off. I forgot about that. And we're going to go ahead and use this brown paper to create a pocket. This paper I got from Hobby Lobby. They sell it in all kinds of colors, but it's got this great texture and kind of a crinkly look, which I really liked. I thought it was really pleasing for this this project. So I am using my Bearly Arts glue to go ahead and glue that down. I was having a moment there where I thought I needed to wait to glue that down because those die cuts needed to go somewhere, and I thought they were going to go under the pocket, but they actually go on top of it. So just again gluing those three sides. The main kit that I used here is called Botanical Christmas from Teal and Tattered on Etsy. And all of those shops will be listed over on my blog in the supply list. And here's the die cuts. I cut a bunch of them in varying tones of green and reds for this project. I didn't use as many, obviously, as I cut, but I'll have them for another project. So again, you're going to see lots of hand talking because the video was long. I thought it carefully through. I had put all those envelopes together, like I'd put them all in place, but what I forgot to consider was how the flaps were going to affect the envelopes that they were glued on. So we do find a resolution in the end, so I hope that you'll hang on all the way to the end and watch what happens. So it was a little frustrating for me, I must say, because this is the second one I've done, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe that there was another important part of this that I missed thinking about. So, but that's the nature of learning, and I have to shake that off. I can't hold on to that because I'm imperfect. I'm creating something beautiful, and I need to find joy in that. So I decided I was going to just go ahead and do the voiceover, save you guys the headache while still being able to talk through all the little obstacles that we ran into as I proceeded through the project. Because I don't want you guys to lose interest because, yet again, I have not found my way through the process smoothly. So I hope that will be okay with you. Forgot to pull a sentiment out for this piece, so I'm just looking for one that fits. And there was one that I liked in the bigger size, but it was too big to go on that leaf. So I put another one there, and then I bumped into that other smaller one that was part of another piece of embellishing on one of the other envelopes. So it all worked out in the end, though. Just looking for another one there. I printed them large and at half size, as I do many of my kits. And unfortunately, I can't. Let me see if I can reach over here and grab the envelope so I can tell you what that actually says. So that one says, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. C. Dickens. And then these are journaling cards that from a variety of shops. That one's from My Porch Prints. The other three, I believe, are from Rach and Bella Crafts. I'm pretty sure. So there we go. I have Love Junk journals in the supply list, but I'm not actually sure I used any of her stuff, so I may have to go back and look at that. So this is the large journal card that's going to go inside the pocket of the first envelope. This is the largest envelope. And I'm just putting this lace on the top, and then I'm going to cut around. I'm going to trim it off and then kind of round it at the tops there, just like the card is rounded. And I'm just going to put a sentiment on the top of that one. I have the project in front of me now that I'm doing the voiceover, so I can hopefully help interpret what I was doing here, even though I just finished the video like 15 minutes ago. So I should remember, but I don't. And then there's just that sentiment. And that one said, I apologize, that one said, where did it go? It says, I wish we could put up some of the Christmas spirit in jars and open a jar of it every month, by H. Miller. So that's the sentiment on the large journal tag, or journal spot. And then this is the next envelope down. And it is going to flip up from the bottom, but you'll be able to see that in the end, which is why the flap is on the bottom there. So we're just doing a little bit of embellishing there with a, on the back side, we created a pocket. This pocket is from Rach and Bella. I believe it's called Christmas Past or something to that effect. But again, their shop will be linked in the description box, or not in the description box, over on my blog in the supply list. Got a couple of tags there. Is all I need to do is go ahead and add some ribbon to stick those in there. It looks like one of the holes I had not already punched, so I'll have to take a moment and do that. And I was talking here about an antique shop in my town, my hometown here in Battleground, Washington, and they have an amazing supply of laces, and they try to sell them at cost. And so I got this linen ribbon for like 49 cents a yard. So it was just an epic deal. So I was talking about that here too. Just kind of sharing that lovely find. So, and then just sticking those tags in there. And those are from the kit called Botanical Christmas. I created a cluster off camera that you're going to see here in a moment. Just layers of paper as I normally do. I just cut a circle of one of the a piece of one of the tags in the kit, or one of the embellishments, and it's got little candles kind of in the tree, the Christmas tree, so I liked that. This is the tag that's going to go inside of that pocket, and again I've just got a piece of that lace and I've cut it at an angle so that it matches the tag top, and then I'm going to kind of wrap it around the back side. So you'll see I'm leaving an overhang there so that I can go ahead and fold that over and glue it on the other side. And then I've got a button, I believe, also to put on the front. It's just a little red button. Super cute. I hope that you guys are doing okay. This is, I'm always recording ahead of time, so we are now at, I'm filming this on December 12th, but it's not going to post, I don't think, until like the 16th of December, so I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. So I will be doing the drawing for this journal on 12/20. I will be doing the drawing on, oh, wait a minute. I don't know when I'm doing the drawing on that. Probably on the 21st or the 24th. I'm not sure. I'll put that in the description box, guys, so you can know that for sure. I'm feeling a little sideways. I was talking in the video about how I went to a coworker's house today and she had cats, so I had to take some Benadryl. So when I was filming this video, I'm really kind of tired and kind of slow in my responses. So kind of good, I guess, that we've got a voiceover. So this is just, I took some of that brown paper and I cut it, used my die cut machine and a die and cut this little, it's like a tag shape or a, I don't know what it's called. And I'm just creating a little cluster here. Got a little picture of Santa Claus's face there, a little bit of ribbon and a sentiment and another piece of that scrap of that lace. And then that one said Noel. That's going to go on top of there. And I apologize, I'm going to back up a second. This is the CD pocket that we were working on. It turned out really, really cool. I'm really happy with it. You'll be able to see a lot of close-up photos at the end of the video, as well as over on the blog. And so what's going to go inside of this is this journal card. And oh, right here. So I cut that circle out of the actual main piece, and then I glued it to the inside so that when the journal card is not in there, it's got something pretty you can look at. So again, I took another piece of that die cut, I folded it in half, and I'm just using it as a pull on the side of the journal card. And I'm going to embellish it up a little bit with some lace and another piece of the brown paper and the word angels. I love angels. I believe in angels, so they're very meaningful to me. I have felt I have been comforted by angels a lot in my life in really dark places. So I like to create around angels and angel wings and things like that. So there's just a little tag to go in that little pocket that we created, and then finishing up the little cluster here on the journal card. And this paper is not from the kit. I'm going to try to find it. I just need to make a mental note to look and see where I purchased that digital. It's a nice digital to have in your stash because it works great as a signature page, because it's got music notes and it's got like ink splatter look on it. It's really, really cool. And then I decided not to stick that in, letting that get a good dry before we start actually putting things in all of those pockets and bits. So this is the next size envelope down. And again, I'll give you the dimensions in the video description. I'm going to use this piece as a journal card and just attaching a piece of lace to the top because it's going to stick out of the top of this envelope, because this envelope is going to it's going to be glued to the bottom and it's going to fold. It's going to open down. So I thought that would be really pretty sticking up, and it was really pretty. The project is amazing. Like the final look is just like epic, but boy, it was a hard journey for me. So I just really not understanding, I guess, and thinking about all the pieces about how these things go together. But I am new to this. I've only been doing journal making for a few months, so still a newbie. I just bring lots of art experience to the table, so I think it makes it look like I've been doing it a long time, but I have not. So again, and I was talking here about how I originally wanted that envelope to fold out of the side of the envelope journal, but the print that I picked was directional, so I was not able to do that. This is a die from Tim Holtz. I think it's called a slot die, and I used that. It's the first time I've used it, and I'm going to attach it here to this side of the envelope, and then I've got a bunch of little journaling cards to slide in there. It was a little bit tricky, and I decided I better let that dry before I start fidgeting with that, because I've never used it, and it's a little bit tough to get those pieces in the slots. And then I've got a tag for this as well, which I think when I took the photos of the final project, I think I ended up putting that tag somewhere else, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, whoever receives this can put things anywhere they want, obviously. So there's another, I used another of Tim Holtz dies. It's a leaf die, and I just put it there. I'm creating a little bit of a cluster. In the end, that book page doesn't show up at all, which is kind of a bummer. And on this paper that's really porous and kind of cottony, and so I switched to my Fabri-Tac because I was having a hard time with it adhering. So just going to put another piece of that lace just to kind of create a little bit of interest there on that cluster. And then I've got a sentiment, and that one says, let's see if I can find that journal card. I did put it in the seat. Oh, and here I was talking about how I keep track of my videos. So I have a little planner, and my daughter helped me create like a PowerPoint where I have all the steps. You know, I have to record and edit and compress and upload, and then I've got to create a Word document and put it on my blog and get the photos and put it on social media. So I have this kind of checklist that helps me keep on track. Because when I'm creating kind of back-to-back videos and I'm filming ahead, I can get pretty confused, and so it helps me just stay a little bit more organized. So, but that tag says, "There's nothing cozier than a Christmas tree all lit up" by Jay Han. or Han, I don't know how you say that. And that actually does go into the CD pocket. And then this is the first small envelope. So I am not sure where I left off. My voiceover just stopped recording and sent me back to the beginning of the video, so I apologize for that. So we're working on the first small envelope here, and that is a little envelope from the kit. So I went ahead and just folded it up. I like to leave them unglued so that they can just be opened up and written in as they are. And then I've got another one here. It's called Journal. It's Journal Spots, and it's from Pink Monarch Prints. So I went ahead and just put a little piece of that paper as a tab on the end of that, just to kind of stick that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and embellish the front of this and put a pocket on the other side. So we're going to put this pocket again using that brown paper that we've used a couple of times here already. It's really weird what just happened with the recording though. I'm just recording along and all of a sudden it's at the beginning of the video. So this is an upgraded version of the editing software that I used on my old computer, and I think this is the longest voiceover I've had to do. So maybe there's like a time limit. I'm not sure. I'm going to need to explore that. So it created, again, I had mentioned before, some die cuts for this project. So this is a little fern one made out of a kind of a burgundy colored scrapbook paper. So I'm just going to embellish the front of this envelope with that. I've got another little piece of that brown paper, a little piece of lace, and another sentiment. And this sentiment says, At Christmas, all roads lead home, by M. Holmes. Technology is challenging, isn't it? It's not my favorite part of creating, but I'm learning to master it and not let it get under my skin. So this is the second small envelope and the last envelope in the project. So I've got, again, a little bit of stuff for a cluster. I wasn't real happy with how this turned out with that long piece of lace. I just probably forgot how I had originally planned what I wanted to do here. So it didn't actually turn out the way that I wanted, but that's okay too. It still was cute and I have no complaints. So, and that's just a little, I just used my smallest circle punch and cut a little circle just to add a little bit of interest there. And then I was using Fabri-Tac, so it was just like, it wasn't gluing at all. It wasn't sticking. So I'll fiddle with that a little bit. Lots of fiddling, it seems. And then I've got some other bits to create a little bit of interest on the back of that envelope as well. I've got this little journal card, and I'm just attaching this piece of scrap to the piece just as a tab again. And this is I can't remember what they're called, but they're a Tim Holtz product. They come already stitched like that. So I just thought it was a cute little element for this project. Trying to find my opening on this one. I can't remember. I think this is the one that I had to end up cutting another slit because I couldn't find it, and then after I cut the slit I found the opening. So it was just like, oh my gosh, this is just not my day. So here I'm just trying so hard. I think it ended up being on the bottom side there, but I could not for the life of me figure it out. So I did go ahead and cut another slit. And then you're going to see in a moment I discover that there is already an opening, but I just missed it completely. So here we go. There it is. There's the slit. So we will just glue that bottom closed and just use the side there as our tuck, our opening. It happens. You know what they say? Stuff happens. We just have to smile, you know. It just... Art is too precious and it's too beautiful to be stressed out about what works and what doesn't work. So if you don't mind, you know, traveling with me in my world of imperfection, then hang out with me, stay. If that bothers you, please do move along. I don't want to ever be kind of a barrier or a roadblock for anybody in their artistic journey. So I just have to be real. That's all I've got. So I hope that you'll hang around. So now we're going to go ahead and embellish the back. I've just got another piece of that die cut, that fern, and a little torn circle there that I'm going to create a little bit of a cluster there. And then I just took another piece from the kit and cut a circle, just a picture of that little lantern, which I think is really, really cute. Another little piece of lace. And then the die cut was kind of an afterthought. It was sitting right there in front of me. I still forgot to put it on first, but it's okay. It all turns out fine in the end. And I believe I will be drawing for this journal. Probably this part 2 is going to be posting on, goodness gracious, where is it? It's not even in my book. Holy Toledo. Part 1. Goodness, Renee. I'm not sure when this is posting, so you'll have to look in the video description for when I'll actually be doing the drawing. I always do a quick drawing video, so if you're watching, following my channel, you'll see when the drawing pops up, it'll be a little video. So just a short one. So let's just finish this up. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. It's going to get hard before it gets easy again. So, because we are just about to the point where we have to start putting this together, and I'm hoping that I can explain to you what the barriers were and how I resolved them, since I'm losing my real time talking. So I had a little bit of trouble getting this. I thought I was having trouble getting that in. Oh, not now, but when I start working on the construction, I actually had to cut that down. I had to slice the bottom of that envelope open and then cut the tag down because I lost some of my space by having to glue some of this stuff together. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. Right now I'm just thinking, oh, this is all fine and dandy. This is beautiful, gorgeous project, until I start actually putting it together. And then all my flaps were showing where they shouldn't show, and I had thought that process through, and I had not, clearly. But I didn't give up, and that's the key, guys. Especially if you're a beginner, don't give up. Keep doing what you love. Keep fussing with it. Keep playing. Keep experimenting. There's usually always a fix for things. It may not be what you had in mind to begin with, but it works out in the end. So don't get discouraged. I guess that would be my number one encouragement. So here is where I'm beginning to discover that to attach that second envelope, where is it going to go? Like, how is that going to work? And I needed to have a place. I guess in theory, that flap should have been glued on the other envelope prior to the papers being put on. I think that's the key, is putting the envelopes together and then putting the papers on. That's what I will definitely do the next time, because then I would not have run into this problem. So by doing it in pieces, I really kind of set myself up for this scenario to happen. So I turned the camera off a second so that I could think about what I was going to do, and discovered that that's what I needed to do, is go ahead and slit that bottom envelope open, go ahead and glue that other envelope in, and then the third envelope that you see me kind of fussing with there, the smaller one, is going to go inside of that bigger envelope as well. That flap is going to go right under there. And it worked out really well in the end, but boy, it was a hard one to figure out. So again, live and learn. I will definitely construct all the envelopes, glue them all together before I put papers on, and I would have been able to avoid all of this. So that's a lesson for you guys. Wow, it was quite something. So, and then I'm attaching that CD envelope to the second envelope, the one in the middle. And then just thinking about that one's not too affected because it has a flap on it that will not get in the way of the underside of that second envelope. And then just trying to figure out where that one to the right is the one that was going to come down from the top. And so I was thinking about just doing it like that, but I think I end up tucking that in behind something as well. So, but we're going to see here, and I'll try to explain what I was doing here. Just taking that big journal card out because I wanted to make sure I didn't glue that in somewhere where it didn't need to be and not be able to pull the journal card out. That would have been bad. using my art glitter glue again because I wanted a really good hold here. The cost to that is that you don't have as much time to kind of move things around because it adheres really, really fast. So I'm just sliding that into that opening that I cut in the bottom of the first envelope, the largest envelope. I left a little bit of a gap so that we'd have some folding room there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this third envelope in the same spot, as you can see there. And I believe that I don't glue the bottom shut until I get to the very end because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing else that was going to need to tuck in there. Oh my goodness. I was having a really hard time sorting this out. I don't do things well when they're backwards or they don't make sense or it's like a puzzle. It's really hard for me. So it's just not a strength in my creative wheel, so to speak. So, and again, I'm going to wait to glue that. I was going to glue it there, but decided to wait just in case I needed to tuck anything else behind there. And then the CD envelope is going to go right there on the side of the second envelope. And even though the flap is going to show on the back of that other piece, it didn't look terrible. Oh, you know what? I think I'm looking at the project right now as I'm doing the voiceover, and it looks like that was the opening on the side of that one. So I was able to slide that flap into the natural opening that we had already established for the journal card that goes in this envelope. So that's what happened there, thankfully. Oh my goodness. And again, leaving a little bit of a gap so that can fold without being too bulky. So that worked out just fine. Thank goodness. It's absolutely gorgeous though, guys. I mean, I wish that this had gone smoother. I am not going to give up though. I can tell you that. I am not going to give up. So here I was just kind of thinking out loud about how the person who receives this would use it. And I think you would probably just sew it into the signature using the flap as part of the stitching it in on that seam for that flap. But that, the person who receives it can totally just figure that out, what they want to do with it. And so here I'm going to go ahead and use again the natural pocket that we created for the journal card in this front envelope to attach the small envelope, one of the small envelopes rather, and that worked out just fine and without any issue. And then it was just the first 3 envelopes that were the trickiest part for me in figuring this out. So, and then here I'm again using the natural opening of the big envelope to attach the last envelope here. So I hope you guys are still here. I hope that it's not too frustrating for you. I mean, if anything else, I hope that you learn something from this, because this was quite the journey. But I am all about being real and transparent. And so if that means I show all the yuckiness and all the underneath sides of my creative process and you learn something from it, then it was worth it. It was worth my frustration. It was worth my sense of disappointment that I didn't quite get this all figured out before I started to put it together. So take heart. It's not, that's all we can do is just keep going and don't give up. Don't give up on your creativity, not for anything. So here I'm going to go ahead and glue that opening shut there on the bottom, leaving the side obviously open because that was our original intended opening for our journal card. And then it's at this point that I'm going to try to put that journal card in, but it is now too big because I lost some of my space due to the having to glue the bottom, as well as I didn't really want to force it because I had just glued that edge. So as you can see here, you're going to watch me struggle a lot. Even after I trim this off, I'm still struggling to get it in there. I did play with it a little bit off camera after I was done doing the recording, and it now goes in just fine. It goes in with ease, but I don't know if it's something that was glued on the inside that was it was catching it, but after you keep wiggling it around, things will eventually kind of loosen up in there and fit. So just trying to figure out why it's so tight. Oh my goodness. Using my ruler, trying everything in my arsenal to figure out what the heck was going on. It's just crazy. But it worked out in the end, I promise. It makes me want to turn around and do another envelope journal like tomorrow, just to prove to myself that I can do this without having these kinds of issues. But I'm older, my brain doesn't work as well. It's not as sharp. And so some things come harder to me than they might to somebody who's younger, and that's just reality. So yeah, I'm just going to keep trying though, just sticking some of the ephemera back in all of the spots that it goes. And then I forgot where this journal card was supposed to go. It is actually going to, I thought it was belonged somewhere else. It actually does belong in the CD pocket, as I had shown you in the very beginning of the video. So, and then I just finished this off by tying it up with some more of the linen ribbon. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to be in the drawing, go ahead and follow the directions that I gave earlier. You need to be a public subscriber, leave a comment, like the video. The comment needs to be meaningful, meaning it needs to be engaging. So thank you guys so much for being here and for not giving up on me. Take care. Bye-bye.